Greetings travelers, I'm Gav. Welcome to another Last Epoch lore video. I want to apologize in advance because I do still have a cold, so my voice isn't 100%. But I'm on the mend, and we have a lot of lore to get through, travelers. In this chapter, we'll learn more of the atrocities of the Empire. But first, let's do a quick recap of Chapter 4. Arriving in the Outcast camp, now with the completed epoch, we're tasked by the Outcast Queen to find their mage, Ulrich, who knows of a secret entrance into the Immortal Citadel. Ulrich was captured and taken prisoner by the Empire. Rescuing them is our best shot of getting close to the Emperor and using the full power of the epoch to defeat them. We enter Imperial Wellrun, where Ulrich was being held. Taking down the Imperial commander, we rescue an outcast prisoner and ask them where Ulrich is. They tell us that Ulrich let his knowledge of the secret entrance of the Immortal Citadel slip, and the Imperials are taking him there now for further investigation. The outcast prisoner gives us Ulrich's ring, telling us to go to the Risen Lake and seek out the outcast seer's camp using Ulrich's ring. The seer can help us find where the Imperials have taken Ulrich. We reach the seer and hand them Ulrich's ring and request their help in finding him. Upon completing their ritual, the seer tells us that Ulrich is a prisoner aboard Admiral Harton's dreadnought. We continue on searching for this ship. Through Imperial Fatima, we reach the Darkling Pier, and aboard the Imperial dreadnought, at the very front of the ship's top deck, we find Ulrich imprisoned in a bone cage, guarded by Admiral Harton himself. We take down Harton, and with no other way off the ship, we jump into the Sea of Storms. Ulrich uses their magic in an attempt to carry us safely to the nearest shore, and that's the end of Chapter 4. Ready to dive into Chapter 5? Let's get into it. The Shining Cove. We wash up along the southern coasts of the Majasan Deserts and find Ulrich resting on the beach.
You washed up safely. Good. I need your help. It seems we're a tad off course. Fortunately, we have a contact who can help. Problem is, she's deep in Maj'elka, Imperial territory. I'll hang back and cover our tracks. Catch my breath. Did you know I almost drowned? I'll only slow you down. Please, go on without me.
We give Ulrich time to catch their breath and continue north along the beach, through undead sandworms called hydras that burrow towards us and several different scorpion variants, continuing on past the wreckage of countless ships that have washed ashore here. I found no secrets or lore within this zone. Let me know if you did. We pass through the cove towards the desert. The Majasan Desert. We make our way west through more undead hydras, scorpions, and skullen. There wasn't really much in this zone. I explored it all and looked for secrets. As we come to the bridge towards the next zone, however, I did notice a small black bird, either a raven or a crow, just walking around on the ground randomly near the bridge. I thought it could be a potential bad omen or a clue or some kind of foreshadowing, but as soon as we approach it, it flies away. You don't see many environmental NPC type things like this in the game, which is why it stuck out so much to me. We begin crossing the wooden bridge and find an Imperial scholar that wants to speak with us. Right next to the scholar is none other than that little black bird. Again, as we approach the bird, it flies off into the distance. We speak with the scholar. Their name is Rouge Zabat. They assure us that we have nothing to fear, that they're a simple academic. As such, they leave the killing and capturing of the living to the soldiers of the Empire. They actually have a request for us. Rouge is fascinated with Maj'elkan history and has read in journals during their studies of a cache of Nagasan gems hidden somewhere in the desert between here and Maj'elka. Further research into this mysterious character led me to find that this odd Imperial scholar is actually a Sonic the Hedgehog Easter egg. Rouge the Bat from Sonic the Hedgehog was a prolific treasure hunter in the Sonic universe with an obsession and weakness for jewels and gems. There's so many Easter eggs and secrets in this game, I honestly don't know if I'll ever find them all. What's your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. We learned from Rouge that this research expedition of theirs is not entirely approved by Spymaster Zarek. We also indirectly learn that Zarek once lived here under Majasa's rule. This would have been in the Divine Era, over 1,000 years ago. Majasa was once the Nagasa goddess of these lands. We'll learn more about the Nagasa later in this chapter. The important thing to note here is the knowledge that Spymaster Zarek has been alive for over 1,000 years, serving the Emperor, and they were once a citizen of Maj'elka. The Emperor would have been alive around the same time period as well. We'll find out more about this in later chapters, but just keep this in mind. We continue on towards Maj'elka. The Wraith Dunes. We quickly find out why it's called the Wraith Dunes. Reaper-looking wraiths emerge from the ground and attack us. We found some odd snake effigies of some sort in this zone, adorned with glowing green jewels, possibly a sign of the Emerald Nagasa. To the northern part of the dunes, we find the cluster of gems that Rouge Zabat described. As we approach a ruined temple, suddenly a scorpion infused with magic of the Nagasan horde of gems emerges from the ground. Argelos the Blessed. Its body is crystalline and crackling with arcane energy. We slay Argelos and continue on through the dunes towards Maj'elka. Rouge will be very interested to hear about this. I found no other secrets or Easter eggs or anything hidden throughout this map. Only more of those snake effigies with the glowing green gemstones. Let me know if you found anything down in the comments. Maj'elka. Waiting for us inside the ruined city of Maj'elka is Ulrich. He tells us more of this contact that we're meeting with. They need our assistance in dispatching the guards throughout the city.
Now, it's time for the hard part. The Oracle's a guarded woman. Understandable, given how long she's lived. The way to her is sealed by 4 sigils, each one signifying one of the old Nagasa castes. Finding them would be easy, if not for Xeric and his minions. The Oracle told me where the sigils were hidden, but I hate to say it, I wouldn't stand a chance. Not with the guards. I've seen how you handle yourself. All you need to do is clear a path. Then I can teleport in and retrieve them.
We descend the nearby ladder into what were once the slums of Maj'elka. Fighting our way through Imperial soldiers and zombies, we make our way to the first sigil to the south. The Emerald Nagasa are the roguelike, slum-dwelling caste. They live among the shadows and are known for their thievery, deception, and stealth.
Let's see. It should be right behind... Ah! There we are. Buried in the slums. She told me of the Emerald Nagasa. They were the same, content to slither through the shadows.
On our way north to the second sigil, we find our Imperial scholar friend. Rouge was just ambushed by Xeric's men after being seen talking with us. We tell them of Argelos the Blessed, the scorpion covered in gems. They speculate through labored breath how the scorpion must have been feeding on a graveyard of Nagasa and devoured their hoard of gems along with their corpses. Afterwards, Rouge Zabat faces their true Imperial death. I still think that the black bird we saw in the Wraith Dunes was some kind of death omen for Rouge, as it's a bit too coincidental at this point, but I couldn't find the bird anywhere near their corpse here or anywhere throughout the zone. Let me know if you did, and what are your thoughts on the black bird omen? We come to a forge in the northern part of the zone, and we're attacked by an animated bone furnace. We take down this abomination, and Ulrich teleports in to retrieve this sigil. Ulrich plunges their arcane-warded hand into the crucible of molten metal.
4 layers of arcane wards. Let's hope it's enough. When she told me it'd take the courage of a Ruby Nagasa, I didn't expect this. But it's one step closer to giving her a piece of my mind.
He wasn't too happy about how risky this one was to acquire. The Ruby Nagasa are the strong and brute-like caste, the warriors and guards among the hierarchy. We continue north to the upper part of the city. The Sapphire Quarter. Through countless more Imperials, we come to the third sigil. The Sapphire Nagasa were the scholars and mages of the caste system. Their knowledge and magics were crucial to the advancement of the great city of Maj'elka.
This square's a sorry sight. The Oracle used to tell me how the Sapphire Nagasa would gather around these fountains, reading the stars and comparing arcane theory. I wish I'd seen it. I can only imagine how she feels.
The fourth and final sigil was in the very northern region of the zone, guarded by a named Dune Wraith, Praetor Vularta. They and their Dune Wraith minions ambush us. After taking them down, we enter the ruined Temple of Majasa. The fourth and final sigil is of the Diamond Nagasa. They were the royals of the hierarchy, second only to Majasa herself, comprised of vessel maidens and diamond matrons. The Diamond Nagasa wanted for nothing, and served their goddess without question. We'll learn more on the vessel maidens in future chapters.
Hidden so close. The way she talked, I thought she hated the temple. A word of advice. Don't ask her about the Diamond Matrons. You'll regret it.
Ulrich opens up a portal for us after collecting the final sigil. We step through. The portal takes us back to central Maj'elka, where we travel south and use the 4 sigils to dispel the barrier and enter the next zone. The Oracle's Abode. As we enter the Abode, we speak with a nearby shrine maiden. The living are running out of clean drinking water. The Imperials have no concern for their needs. She tells us legends of a way to cleanse the fountains that have been corrupted by the Empire. The shrine maiden speaks of the Sapphire Nagasa, and how their magic once fueled many of the city's wonders, including a relic that could purify water. She tells us of one such shrine that still exists, that should still contain one of these relics, hidden behind a sealed wall in the Shining Cove. They give us their blessing to open the wall by simply approaching it. Who is this shrine maiden? How exactly does she know about this relic? I'm not too sure, and I couldn't find any additional details, but apparently they have the power to just let us through walls and doors with their blessing. We make our way into the Oracle's chambers. Pink gemstones line this cave. I'm not sure what kind of gems these are or if they have any significance. Approaching the Oracle, we stop and speak with Ulrich briefly.
I'm glad you made it safely. When I described you, the Oracle appeared interested. She wishes to speak with you. Just remember, we shouldn't stay here long.
We make our way to the center of these chambers and speak with the Oracle. They seem to recognize us, though they're a little taken aback, saying that of all things that they've seen, seeing us is what surprises her. When we ask her what she means, she doesn't really elaborate. We show the Oracle the completed epoch, and she tells us not to worry about the outcasts, that the epoch is all that we'll need for what will happen next. But first, we need to get out of the city. The plan is for us to enter the catacombs under the city and follow the tunnels until we find the exit. This exit leads to Titan's Canyon, where the Imperials have built an artificial waystation, connecting to a second waystation south of the Immortal Citadel, allowing travel from the southwest reaches of Atera all the way to the northeast where the Citadel is located. These waystations are much like the ancient Ateran waypoints that we use to fast travel. The Imperials have found some way to mimic this power using the blood of a Titan, mining into its sleeping body and keeping the Titan in a state of paralysis. The Empire now extracts the Titan's blood, using its blood to fuel this waystation as well as any other devices that they've built. We thank the Oracle for their help, and we help the Shrine Maiden before we continue on to the catacombs. The Shining Cove. To the west of the cove lies the sealed door that the Shrine Maiden spoke of. As we approach it, suddenly the locks on the door unseal and it opens up before us. We enter the Sapphire Shrine. The display case where the sigil likely rested sits empty. Towards the back of the room is an anomalous time rift. We enter the rift. The ruined coast. We come out the other side in the ruined era, 1290 AG. The cove is covered in void. Cultists, void husks, and creatures all attack us as we make our way through the winding beaches and series of crashed ships. Finally reaching the southernmost region of the coast, we come to the Sapphire Shrine. A void cultist named Orta Ek the Survivor guards the tablet. We take down the cultist and retrieve the Sapphire Tablet. This room also contains the entrance to the Temporal Sanctum. We'll go over this and all the other dungeons in our dungeon lore video, which I'll be working on as soon as I finish up this chapter series. We return the tablet to a very thankful Shrine Maiden in the Oracle's abode. The survivors will now have a plentiful supply of clean water. We enter the catacombs. The Maj'elkan Catacombs. We pass through snakes, scorpions, hydras, and mummified Nagasa. You know, things that you would normally find in the tombs of a race of snake people. I didn't find any walls that I could break in here or any Easter eggs or anything. Just a lot of statues and Nagasa tombs. We come to the end of the tunnels and reach the exit. Titan's Canyon. A river of blood flows through this canyon. Fighting past Imperial forces, we make our way through the canyon and see a conveyor belt system. It seems that they're using these leech-like creatures to attach to the Titan. Once the leeches have consumed their fill of Titan blood, they then take the leeches, place them on the conveyor belts, and drop them into these grinders to extract all of the Titan blood. The blood is then carried down the canyon and into the reservoir, where it's then used to fuel the waystation. You can actually see the tubes pumping the blood from the canyon reservoir and distributing it into the waystation. The Titans are some of the oldest and most powerful beings that Eterra created outside of the gods. Their ancient blood holds great magical properties. Within the facility, we're suddenly ambushed by Spymaster Zarek himself, who is also one of these leech creatures. Out from Zarek's body springs a skeleton with long arms and bone scythes for hands. We'll find out more about Zarek in future chapters, but I find it pretty funny that he's an undead leech. It's a little symbolic. We take them down, but they won't be dead for good. Just like Admiral Harton, they are immortal after all. We enter the waystation. The Maj'elka Waystation. Deep in the heart of the Titan, literally, is where we find the Imperial's artificial waystation lies. We take the ladder leading down towards the waystation itself. On our way through, we pass by a lab containing Imperial research notes. The note was addressed to Spymaster Zarek. The Grand Maj'elkan Waystation is nearing completion, and the writer of these notes is congratulating Zarek on their stroke of genius, thinking to excavate this region in the first place. Without their slumbering friend, the Titan, they couldn't have built such a device. The waystation would have been an impossibility. The arts of hemomancy and paralytic magic have both been advanced by this Titan project of theirs. They keep the Titan asleep with their paralytic magic in order to extract its nearly endless supply of powerful Titan blood. The writer of these research notes is demanding that excavation be done in every corner of the Empire. They need to find more Titans and build more waystations. As we finally approach the waystation itself, you can hear the beating heart of the Titan. Ulrich is standing near the platform.
This is the artificial waypoint. Can't say I'll enjoy using it. What we can do is wreck this place before we leave and let Zarek clean the mess. Quickly, on my signal, go to the center of the device and get ready. I'll get us out of here.
We stand in the center of the waystation and signal to Ulrich. In a flash, the waystation is activated and we're transported through to the other side, ready to make our way towards the Immortal Citadel.
And that should do it! This waypoint's harder than I anticipated. But no worries. All good now. Just in time. Looks like we've got company. Anyway, off you go. I'll see you on the other side.
And that's the end of Chapter 5. To be continued. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I apologize for my cold, but what did you all think about Chapter 5? Definitely let me know down in those comments. If you learned something here today about Last Epoch lore, please leave a like. It helps me out a ton. If you're looking forward to Chapter 6 and many other lore videos to come, I'd be honored if you joined me and my growing community by subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you all in Chapter 6. Farewell, travelers.